promoting dialogue.
It's 6 p.m. in Dakar and 7 p.m. in Port Novo. Good evening and welcome to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world at wadr.org. Coming up in the news, Burkinabe government introduces a new rule for NGO finances amid espionage suspicions. President Bassirou Diomaye Faye of Senegal honors victims of Charoy massacre as he receives white paper.
The white paper marks a pivotal step in restoring historical truth grounded in concrete facts, drawn from archives held both here and in France.
In Mali, regional councillor abducted calls for negotiation with armed men to seek his release. And Madagascar installs army colonel as interim president following a power grab. Please stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
Here is Abdullahi Hassan with Newslink.
Many thanks for joining us. The Burkinabe government has introduced a new decree requiring non-governmental organizations or NGOs and associations to register their financial accounts with the Treasury Deposit Bank. Announced during Thursday's Council of Ministers, Ouagadougou asserted that the move will enhance transparency and accountability in the financial operations of NGOs. The measure also comes amidst ongoing suspicions of espionage involving a foreign organization in Burkina Faso. Christopher Ticho has the rest of the details.
According to the new regulation, all financial transactions of NGOs and associations, including grants, subsidies, donations, and other funding sources, must now flow through accounts managed by the Treasury Department. Authorities emphasize that this step seeks to improve the traceability of funds, combat risks such as money laundering and misappropriation, as well as prevent the financing of activities contrary to public order. Thursday's decree follows the discovery of an alleged espionage network operating under the guise of humanitarian effort, says the Burkinabe government. The network reportedly involved foreign nationals linked to International Safety Organization (INSO), a group headquartered in the Netherlands. The NGO has been present in Burkina Faso since 2019. Authorities have accused INSO of engaging in intelligence activities under the cover of supporting humanitarian action with security experts. According to government reports, 7 individuals comprising French, Czech, and Malian citizens were arrested on charges of espionage and treason. With Thursday's decree, the government aims to reinforce oversight and regulation of NGOs and associations operating in Burkina Faso amidst heightened vigilance over national security concerns and financial integrity.
Christopher Ticho reporting there. We remain in the Sahel region, but this time in Mali, where Saka Dembele, president of the Senegal Regional Council, appeared in a video released by armed groups who captured him. He was abducted on October 3rd while traveling between Senegal and Bamako, the Malian capital. In this video, which went viral on social media platforms, the regional elected official is requesting the Malian authorities to negotiate his release. In addition to other journalists from the national television station ORTM were kidnapped this week in the center of the country.
In a video recording lasting just over 2 minutes, Siaka Dembele appears wearing a white traditional bubu and a black cap on his head. The president of the Senegal Regional Council says he has been treated well by his captors, though he does not specify which armed group adopted him. Visibly tied but still able to speak, Siaka Dembele calls on the Malian authorities to work towards his release.
We ask the authorities to do everything they can to ensure that you understand this, so that we are released as soon as possible. And I call on all people of goodwill to get involved, to work together so that at least a solution can be found in this situation. We are all Malians. We do not speak anything other than the Malian language. We do not assume anything other than the well-being of Malians.
The president of the Senegal Regional Council and his driver were kidnapped 2 weeks ago while traveling to Bamako. The authorities have not yet commented on the situation. For several weeks now, JNIM has imposed a blockade on the country's main roads and has been carrying out numerous abductions. On Tuesday, 2 journalists from the National Television Network, ORTM, Dauda Kone and Salif Sangari, were kidnapped near Kona in the Mopti region in central Mali. Neither ORTM nor the Malayan Press House has made any statement about the incident.
Augustine Kole with that report filed in by WADR's Bamako correspondent Aliou Cham. Here in Senegal, President Bassirou Diomaye Faye on Thursday received a white paper on the Thiaroye massacre. The handing over ceremony took place at the presidential palace in the presence of several dignitaries, including diplomats and senior government officials. As a result of research, documentation and consultation, the white paper sheds light on the circumstances surrounding the December 1, 1944 massacre. It also honors the memory of the victims and promotes a shared historical recognition among the nations concerned. Sankule Janko has more.
The ceremony was presided over by the head of state, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, in the presence of his Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko, several senior government officials, and members of the diplomatic corps. The white paper was produced under the supervision of Professor Mamadou Diouf, president of the committee in charge of commemorating the 80th anniversary of the Thiaroye massacre. Professor Mamadou Diouf then handed the document to Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko before it was presented to President Bassirou Diomaye Faye. The head of state called for lessons to be learned from this tragic past.
Le livre blanc constitue une étape décisive.
The white paper marks a pivotal step in restoring historical truth. It is far more than just a report. It stands as a narrative created by us and for us, grounded in concrete facts, drawn from archives held both here and in France. This account also stems from a resolute refusal to accept that our history be taught by sources other than our own. We owe this to the African youth.
Nous la devons à la jeunesse africaine.
The Senegalese president, however, lamented that cooperation with the French authorities has been slow to materialize regarding the full restitution of the archives. Nevertheless, Diomaye Faye called for the continuation of archaeological excavations at the Thiaroye Cemetery of African riflemen.
Sankule Janko with that report.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Remember, we stream live at wadr.org and on Facebook, WADR English Service. Let's now take you to Ghana as founder of the Movement for Change, Alan John Kwado Kerimanten, officially launches a new political party, the United Party Plus, UP Plus in Accra. The rebranded party, drawing inspiration from the historical United Party, aims to promote accountable leadership, inclusive governance and economic transformation in Ghana. From Accra, Naderi Tete reports.
Former Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kwado Kerimanten, who broke away from the opposition New Patriotic Party, has rebranded his Movement for Change into a new political organization known as the United Party Plus, UP Plus. The launch event, held in Accra on Thursday, marked what the founder described as a defining moment in Ghana's democratic evolution.
We are ushering a new era, a new dawn in Ghanaian politics. A new dawn that will end the divisiveness, acrimony, and rancor in politics in Ghana. A new dawn that will also end the duopoly in Ghanaian politics by offering Ghanaians a credible alternative and eliminate the culture of winner takes all. A new dawn that will bring about economic transformation.
The party's national chairman, Abubakar Sadiq Boniface, said the rebranding symbolizes a rebirth of values-driven politics and a commitment to competent leadership. The United Party Plus positions itself as a credible alternative to Ghana's dominant political parties, the NPP and the NDC, seeking to break their duopoly. But political scientist Dr. Asasante does not see the new party breaking the dominance of the two.
Research has shown that the smaller parties since 1992 have not gone beyond 5%. Meanwhile, you are talking about a threshold of what? Beyond 50%. Where are they going to get that from? It tells you that other factors will keep them away. The real task for them is that how are they going to approach the duopoly That is an impossible task for them.
The new party, the UP Plus, which officially received its registration certificate from the Electoral Commission on October 3, 2025, draws its name and spirit from the historical United Party, one of Ghana's earliest political traditions. For WDR, Nadidi Tete, Accra.
Well, away from political matters in Sierra Leone, a recent survey indicates that 3 in 4 Sierra Leoneans cannot afford to pursue a case in court. Afrobarometer, in its March to April 2025 report, disclosed that fewer than half of citizens are confident that ordinary people who are wronged can obtain justice in the courts, while a slim majority thinks a court case will be resolved fairly. More than a third of respondents believe that most judges and magistrates are corrupt, and nearly half say penalties are too lenient for the powerful, reinforcing widespread perceptions of inequality before the law. Sierra Leone's justice system has long struggled with capacity constraints, including limited funding, insufficient personnel, and limited infrastructure. While successive governments have pursued justice sector reform strategies aimed at increasing fairness and access to justice, findings suggest that challenges such as perceptions of corruption, trial delays, and inequality before the law continue to undermine public confidence in the system. Crossing over to Liberia, a memorial site dedicated to the more than 500 victims of the 1994 massacre in Bong County has been inaugurated. For families of victims of the 2-decade tragedy, the occasion marks a significant step in the healing and reconciliation process after years of civil conflict. The project was funded by the United Nations Development Programme UNDP and implemented by the Independent National Commission on Human Rights for $31,000. As Abraham Parker reports, the site aims to provide a space for remembrance and reflection for families and communities affected by the atrocities.
Speaking at the dedication ceremony, James Brown, chairperson of the INCHR, reiterated the urgent need for accountability for the perpetrators of crimes committed during Liberia's civil wars. Brown revealed the scale of the violence, noting that over 334 mass graves have been documented across the country, including 96 newly discovered sites and 11 massacred sites in the southeastern region alone.
They kill and they think that they will go with impunity. Enough is enough. Let us punish those that kill our people. Now, what we want to tell you here is that we are not going to joke. We continue to insist.
Councillor Frederick Wemin, Director for Operations at the Office for the Establishment of the World and Economic Crimes Code, hailed the memorial as a justice in motion. He underscored the importance of these initiatives in complementing legal mechanisms for accountability.
This memorial is a call to action. It tells us that remembrance must lead to responsibility, mourning must lead to movement, and justice must no longer be delayed.
The establishment of the World and Economic Crimes Court has been a contentious issue in Liberia, with proponents arguing that it is essential for bringing closure to victims and deterring future atrocities. Caroline Sauce, Human Rights Officer at the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, said the commemoration is within the broader transitional justice framework. For Liberians, the dedication of the 1-year memorial site is a step forward in the country's long journey toward healing and reconciliation. For Newslink on WADR, April Parker, Monrovia.
You are listening to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Burkinabe government introduces new rule for NGO finances amid espionage suspicions. President Diomaye Faye of Senegal honors the victims of Charayo massacre as he receives white paper. Abducted Mali's regional councillor calls for negotiation with armed men to secure his release. Still ahead in the news, Nigerian Senate moves to protect citizens from migration-related challenges such as sex exploitation and trafficking. Madagascar installs Army Colonel as interim president following a power grab. We also have the guest interview and sports news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time.
Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
The Nigerian Senate has expressed growing concern over the rising cases of abuse, exploitation, and trafficking of Nigerian migrants abroad. Lawmakers say the trend, which continues to drain the country of its young and skilled population, demands urgent national attention. Usman Umar reports from Abuja.
The Nigerian Senate on Thursday turned its attention to the plight of thousands of Nigerians who, in search of greener pastures, end up as victims of abuse and human trafficking in foreign lands. Leading the debate, Senator Basi Anekan described the increasing wave of irregular migration as a humanitarian crisis that calls for urgent national intervention.
The Senate is stopped that without urgent reforms, stronger border enforcement, stiffer penalties for traffickers, and gender-sensitive protection measures for women and girls, Nigeria risks continued exploitation of our citizens abroad and erosion of sovereignty.
The debate also saw contributions from several lawmakers, including Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. She decried the failure of existing institutions to protect citizens and called for stronger migration governance.
The fact that many of our Nigerian women who found themselves in the Libyan prisons are pregnant, and many have given birth to children who live in the prisons. So I would appreciate the chambers and my colleagues do approve this so that innocent children who are of Nigerian heritage do not suffer with their innocent mothers, that they be brought back to Nigeria.
In his closing remarks, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, urged relevant ministries and agencies to collaborate on setting up reintegration mechanisms for returnees, ensuring they are not left stranded after returning home. For many Nigerians, the search for better life abroad has become both a dream and a danger, a reflection of the deep social and economic cracks within the nation. According to recent reports from sources like the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission and the International Organization for Migration, between 15 and 17 million Nigerians live abroad. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, Usman Umar reporting from Abuja.
On health matters, Senegal's Ministry of Health has confirmed the first case of Rift Valley fever, RVF, in Dakar, indicating an escalation in the ongoing outbreak. The case was detected in the Karmasa district, signaling the virus's spread from rural areas to the capital. This viral disease is mainly transmitted by mosquitoes and through contact with infected animals or livestock. Since the start of the epidemic, 196 confirmed cases have been recorded nationwide, resulting in 21 deaths and 147 recoveries, according to the latest situation report of October 15, 2025. The St. Louis region in the north remains the epicenter with 179 cases, 105 of them in the Richard Toll district alone. RVF is a viral disease primarily transmitted by mosquitoes and through contact with infected animals. Elsewhere, Madagascar's coup leader, Colonel Michael Rwandianira, was sworn in as president on Friday after the military took power in the island nation this week following youth-led protests that forced André Rajoelina to flee. Rajoelina, whom lawmakers impeached after he fled abroad at the weekend, has condemned the takeover and refused to step down despite widespread defections in security forces. The African Union and United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres have condemned the coup, which came after weeks of Gen Z protests. Rwandianira was a commander of the Allied Capsat army unit that played a role in the 2009 coup that brought Rajoelina to power, but broke ranks with him last week, urging soldiers not to fire on protesters. Madagascar's population of about 30 million people has an average age of less than 20 years.
Politics,
Analysis on major news,
social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
In this segment, we bring you back to Senegal as we turn our attention to a significant moment in the country's journey of historical reckoning. On Thursday, the white paper on the Chariot massacre was officially delivered to President Bassirou Diomaye Faye at the presidential palace. The document, the result of extensive research, documentation, and consultation, sheds new light on the tragic events of December 1, 1944, while honoring the memory of the victims and fostering shared historical understanding among the nations involved. However, Professor Gorkujen has expressed doubt about the real number of riflemen affected and the ability to determine the various countries of origin.
You know that this Jaroi issue is a very tricky one. We don't know exactly the number of soldiers from Africa who participated in the Second World War. We don't know the number of martyrs. So some are talking about 10, others less, others much more. So I don't know whether it is possible to write a white paper on an issue which has not been investigated thoroughly so far. That is my first concern. The second concern is I don't know what the consequences could be, because of course the French state is still here, even though in 1944 we had a different state which had not recovered all its independence. So is it possible today to blame what happened in 1944 and not stable French state? Can we blame that on the present French state? That's my question. So I would like to see really the importance of writing all this, or talking about all this.
Don't you think this may be some form of appeasement, consolation to the families, and maybe some form of compensation can follow suit after the entire investigation?
Yeah, that is the question. If we know for sure the number of people who got killed and then their names, that could lead to something positive for the families. But my question remains the same. We don't exactly know the number of people who got killed and we don't know the names. So how can you think about compensation when we don't have the real figures, when we don't have the real names? The one who got killed in 1944, were they from Senegal or from Mali or from Burkina Faso or from Benin, etc.? We don't know for sure from which countries they hail from, so which territory they hail from. So this is a big issue. If we know for sure the names of the victims, if we know for sure the number of the victims, that could lead to something. But I don't see any possibility, if I cast a look at how things stand today, that to say we don't have anything clear regarding the number of people who got killed and then their names.
Professor Gorkujen, a historian and political analyst. In the sporting world, in a match filled with drama, resilience and sheer determination, Morocco's under-20 team has carved its name into the history books, defeating France in a penalty shootout to advance to the FIFA Under-20 World Cup final for the first time ever. The Atlas Cubs seized the initiative early, with Yasser Zabiri converting a 32nd minute penalty. France's Michael equalized in the 59th minute, setting up a tense battle. The match's momentum shifted dramatically when Moroccan goalkeeper Ben Chouak was injured, forcing substitute Ibrahim Gomez into a crucial role. The drama escalated in extra time when France's Zwingola received a red card, giving Morocco a numerical advantage. They pressed but couldn't convert, leading to the fateful penalty shootout. Meanwhile, Senegal are officially the team to beat, or rather, the team not one has been able to beat. The Teranga Lions currently hold the longest unbeaten run in world football, going 26 matches without a loss. The African champions sit ahead of Spain, who are unbeaten in 24 matches, and Morocco, whose current run stands at 18. This remarkable streak underlines Senegal's consistency and resilience. Under its worth nothing, however, that this record differs from another impressive feat held by Morocco. The Atlas Lions recently set the record for the longest consecutive winning streak in international football history, with 16 straight victories, a run that showcased their attacking flair and tactical discipline. Together, these two African powerhouses are redefining global standards, proving that consistency and quality are no longer confined to Europe or South America. Right now, the numbers don't lie. Senegal are the most difficult team in the world to beat. And finally, in the world of sports, the Football Association of Malawi, FAM, has appointed French national Yvonne Avry as its new technical director. Avry assumes the position that fell vacant following the departure of Benjamin Kuwenda earlier this year. The appointment follows a competitive recruitment process that attracted 17 applicants from different parts of the world. After initial screening, 3 candidates were shortlisted and interviewed on 23rd September 2025 by a panel comprising representatives from FAM's technical, administrative, and human resources departments. Following the evaluation, Avry emerged as the top candidate based on his qualifications, international experience, and technical vision aligned with FAM's developmental objectives. And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Faliluso and Ismaila Kamara for the technical support. Do interact with us via social media platforms, X, Instagram at WADR English, on Facebook, WADR English Service. Coming up at the bottom of the hour is a rebroadcast of WADR's Security and Governance Program in English in the Sahel. I'm Abdullahi Hassan. Good evening.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, Newmi FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kagama 94.5 FM, Niba County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, Riverside County, Wakat FM Radio, Banga, Liberia, Radio Baf FM 91.3 Sierra Leone in Nigeria, and Love 104.5 FM Abuja.
For you listening via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango, Savannah region, and on Royals FM 104.7 Wenchi, Ghana, we say a big thank you. Remember, West Africa Democracy Radio is all about you, your views, and your opinions.
WADR. You can listen to us on 94.9 FM in the Dakar through our website www.wadr.org.
Free and independent media are proof of a vigorous and a constructive democracy. Let's work so that each actor can speak and be listened to.
This message is from